Hi, I'm Caitlin, and so for my Tech Talk 2, I'm going to be talking about smart labels. So, what are smart labels and how do they work? Well, they're sensor prototype labels that adhere to food or cosmetics, um, and potentially many other things to inform you of when they expire and eventually need to be thrown out or need to be thrown out. So they're low-cost paper-based devices that have reagents and solutions integrated into the paper themselves that are necessary to detect certain chemicals that are present in food and oxygen levels and things like that to understand when things expire and what different chemicals are present within the object that you are trying to test with the labels. So one of the things that they can detect is an ochratoxin A, and it's a fungal toxin commonly found in a range of products, including cereals and coffee. So these sensors bind to the reactive oxygen species that uh, produce that products accumulate as they age and eventually spoil. So, yeah, as food and cosmetics and these things start to age and go bad, they release different oxygen levels, and these labels can detect that and inform you of when they need to be thrown out. So, some more specifics about how they work is these sensors use solutions integrated within them to migrate on channels. Um, And on these channels, they use stable inorganic particles that are redox reactive. So what does this mean? It means that they interact with the substances that we want them to detect, the object in question. And when these labels change color, um, the intensity of that change tells us how concentrated the analyte is. The analyte being the thing that we're trying to detect. This research and these labels are funded by the National Science Foundation. So currently, and what they've done so far in terms of the smart labels is the detection of antioxidants in tea and wine. So this is the only thing, these are the only things that they've been able to test successfully with accurate results. But based on this and based on their accurate results, this contributes to what the future may look like. So the future could be these labels could start sensing antioxidants in the environment to detect natural sources. So when I was reading my article, it was discussing the Amazon rainforest and the ability and the potential to take these tiny dot labels to the rainforest to detect where you could find antioxidants in abundance naturally. Um, they also could be used to detect contamination in food. Like I said, so far they can detect a certain toxin that causes fungus. So with the future and the different detection agents and solutions and things, they can begin to use them to test all sorts of food and to see if they're contaminated. Um, Along with this, the potential to detect salmonella and E. coli. They are very hopeful of this, and that I think that that would be very beneficial to stick one of these tiny labels on there and be able to know if it has salmonella or E. coli in your meat or in your food products, because those things are very dangerous. And I think it's very cool and innovative that these scientists are coming up with just tiny little labels that you can just stick on there, and based on what you want to look for and what your goal is, these little labels could just tell you all the information that you need to know. Um, but they don't have to just do with food, they could do with environmental pollutants to test the different chemicals and compounds within the environment that could be dangerous and just inform us of what's there, and therefore, by using the data collected from the labels, we could then maybe provide solutions in the future for those things. Um, the last example I have is cosmetics. So personally, cosmetics, a lot of the time, basically all the time, I kind of forget that cosmetics have expiration dates, and because you're using them every day or not every day, but there are things that you spend a lot of money on and sometimes don't think about when they go bad, especially myself. So with these tiny little dots, if I was curious or wanted to check, you know, every few months whether my cosmetics were still good because I'm putting those things on my body and on my face, so I want them to be good for me. With these little labels, they could tell me that information very quickly. So in the next 10 to 15 years with the smart labels, we could gain information about things very quickly, about chemicals and um, components of things in food and cosmetics and the environment. And I think that that could be very beneficial in understanding what exactly is going on and how we can prevent these things and how we can find solutions to um, environmental resources or prevention of contamination of food and just making sure that the things that you're putting in your body are good for you. And with these cost effective, um, portable, very easy to use labels that anybody can use, we can reduce the amount of contamination, possibly sickness, um, and just ultimately food waste. And by these labels, we could place them on there, and if the expiration date is for your safety and that's what they need to say before it expires so that you don't get sick, well, you could use these labels and figure out whether or not they're actually going to expire or contaminated, and we could start to reduce food waste by assuming that something is expired when it's really not. So I think that that's really cool and very innovative. So here my this is my citation. I hope you enjoyed my tech talk too. Thank you very much.